Please do not leave me, Fang Yuan. Look, I even have candy for you.
It is really sweet. Anyway, he travels back to his youth and finds this hated heiress on the rooftop. She is completely covered in wounds and her eyes are totally lifeless. Like a broken butterfly ready to fly away, under the sun, he reaches out to save her. Saving her means carrying a heavy soul, but he is completely down for it. That afternoon, he holds his fragile rose. Then, it is his first day at school. Right away, he meets the other girl, the incredibly popular fake heiress, Bai Lingxi. This girl is constantly surrounded by crowds who absolutely worship her. Seriously, it is like she does not even have the ability to be disliked. Like her childhood friend, Fang Yuan, and the school hunk, Lin Yu, both competing for her attention. They do everything they can just to please this princess, Bai Lingxi. She just smiles. Her cute dimples make her look incredibly sweet. But in the very back row sits a tall, gloomy girl. Even under the bright sun, she looks completely drained of life. No one cares. Her name is Bai Ningbing. She grew up in a dirt-poor orphanage, living like wild grass in spring. Just drifting with the wind until she finally grew up. She managed to get into this school, ranking first every single time. Everything seemed to be going well. But then, boom, a DNA test reveals she is the actual biological daughter of the wealthy Bai family. Talk about a plot twist. The real Pearl was cast aside while a fake got pampered as a princess. But wild grass cannot become a flower, and Bai Ningbing can never replace Bai Lingxi. The fake daughter is this lively angel that everyone adores. Her parents dote on her, and her handsome fiancé loves her. Even the school heartthrob, who once showed a bit of kindness to our poor girl, ends up falling for the fake daughter instead, leaving our real heiress completely abandoned. She is the most hated girl and nobody wants her around. She returned, but she still has no real home. They just stare at her with cold, cruel judgment. To them, she is just a vulgar girl who does not belong in high society. Even when the fake daughter openly frames her, all she has to do is cry. Everyone immediately blames our girl, asking why Xiaoxi would only accuse her. They actually tell her, if you did not do it, why would she blame you? They say they raised Xiaoxi themselves, so they know her pure heart best. They tell Bai Ningbing to stop lying, and even her supposed friend turns on her. He scowls and warns her that if anything happens to Xiaoxi, he will absolutely make her pay. Honestly, this guy is the worst. Xiaoxi, everyone is so obsessed. Meanwhile, our poor girl was only 16 when she returned. But she genuinely wanted to love them, but the family she yearned for did not love her back. On her first birthday, they just gave her a cold greeting. But when the fake daughter wanted cake, the family ordered a dozen gourmet cakes, and the fake daughter brought one to her. She smiles so innocently, telling her that even though her own birthday is in 6 months, it is totally fine, and she is happy to share her cake. This girl is so toxic. If you like it, sister, eating one every single day is totally fine. But that sweet smile is pure poison, and she refuses to take the cake. She is deathly allergic to mangoes, yet Bai Lingxi specifically gave her mango cake. She turns around and walks upstairs, trying to block out all the noise. But Fang Yuan barks that she is ungrateful, and her parents do not even object. From then on, her birthdays are completely forgotten, tossed aside like dead leaves. Swept away into the distance, she becomes a total outsider in her own home. Meanwhile, Bai Lingxi acts like the real master, and she absolutely despises Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing has no idea why, especially since everything she owned is already gone. She cannot understand why her sister still harbors so much intense malice toward her. She tries to change things but fails, even though she was once a top student. But then Bai Lingxi plays the victim card, crying to everyone at school, whimpering that Bai Ningbing mistreats her at home, but telling them to just forget it. Saying she probably just dislikes her. Honestly, some people have this terrifying talent. She does not even have to spell it out to make everyone think she is the victim. With everyone blindly defending her, their constant hate pushes Bai Ningbing to the edge. Trapped in a dark swamp, her story is later read by our protagonist, Fang Yuan. And one sentence from those pages literally breaks your heart. She wrote that her feet were stuck in the mud, forcing her to crawl toward tomorrow. Fast forward to lunch break. Bai Lingxi corners Fang Yuan, desperate for attention. Honestly, her fake attention-seeking act is so exhausting to watch. But when Fang Yuan turns around, Bai Ningbing is gone, causing instant panic. Ignoring her own extremely frail, sickly body, she sprints to the rooftop.
And there she is. Bai Ningbing is standing on the edge, embracing the wind.
Her baggy school uniform billows behind her, looking like a pair of wings.
Even when she hears the rooftop door slam open, she does not look back.
Fang Yuan quickly locks the door before she can even say a word. Her chest is burning like a broken bellows from that crazy run. She gasps heavily for air, shattering the silence of the empty rooftop. Coughing violently against the howling wind, her eyes tear up from the pain. Nose stinging, she watches as Bai Ningbing finally turns around to face her. Behind her is a 6-story drop with a crowd of terrified students below. Asked if she is crazy, Fang Yuan coughs and nods, admitting her sickness. She explains she has a terminal illness and could literally die any day. The air goes completely silent, with only the wind howling around them. After a long, tense silence, Bai Ningbing finally speaks up. Asking why she ran, Fang Yuan replies she just wanted to find her. Bai Ningbing freezes in shock. Leaning against the wall for support, Fang Yuan forces her weak legs to take a few slow steps forward. She says she wants to be friends, even though they have never met. And she has likely never heard of a girl named Fang Yuan before. But someone who understands her pain has literally crossed time to find her. All just to look her in the eyes and tell her she is not alone. Standing on that dangerous ledge, Bai Ningbing stares down at her. Shock fills her eyes as teachers start desperately banging on the locked door. He is screaming at his classmates to calm down, throwing out some of the most chaotic advice you have ever heard. Standing on the edge of the rooftop, Bai Ningbing cannot help but laugh, raising an eyebrow with a soft chuckle. She cracks up before scoffing, straight up asking if he has completely lost his mind. Like, are you blind? Can you not see the situation? This lady is literally trying to jump off a building right now. You are seriously trying to ask her to be friends? Is this really the time for that? Honestly, the wind up on that roof is absolutely brutal, and it's making our boy incredibly dizzy. His head starts burning with a sudden fever, and he loses his balance, swaying on his feet. Barely able to speak, he mutters to Bai Ningbing that his head is spinning. He thinks he has a fever, making her knit her brows in sheer annoyance. She looks at the locked rooftop door, glances down at the crowd below, and snaps that he is being incredibly annoying. But before she can finish, our boy passes out head first, completely catching her off guard. Her voice shoots up as she yells at him to stop faking it. After calling out a few times with zero response, she gets so frustrated that she actually jumps down from the ledge. She flips him over, ready to slap him awake, but stops when she sees his head is bleeding from hitting the concrete. Annoyed but defeated, she hoists him onto her shoulder, unlocks the door, and sprints straight to the school clinic. People probably believed that even if someone like Bai Ningbing died, it would not cause a single ripple. But our main character, Fang Yuan, he is on a completely different level. He is the only heir of the wealthy Fang family and the future boss of the massive Fang Shi group. Even though he was born with a weak body and literally has to burn money just to stay alive. Everyone treats him like some precious, delicate porcelain doll sitting high up on a pedestal. But he knows the truth. This delicate doll is actually trapped deep in the mud. His soul is completely hollow, and he can neither grow wings nor fly away. Nor fly to the open wilderness. Talk about tragic. But when he finally opens his eyes, he is already lying in a private hospital's luxury VIP suite with Bai Ningbing sitting right beside him. She is staring out the window, casually munching on the very apple she was supposed to peel for him. She mockingly asks why he tried to save her, wondering if he suddenly felt like playing the hero. Our boy just blinks, completely ignoring her highly sarcastic and salty attitude. He just mutters that he is thirsty, making her whip her head around and glare at him. Grumpily, she pours him a cup of warm water while complaining about what a weak body he has. Getting a fever from a little rooftop wind, and yet he still tried to play the hero. She snaps that if she had not climbed down early before she even jumped, he would have literally boiled alive on that roof. Honestly, her nagging is kind of adorable.
Even though her words sting like knives, he just listens in peaceful silence. He reaches out to hold her hand, softly telling Bai Ningbing not to be afraid. She scoffs twice, as if she just heard the absolute funniest joke in the world. Afraid? As if she would be scared. But then, her lips tighten. Her eyes turn red. At 18 years old, Bai Ningbing is still so stubborn and proud. She is just a scared little girl putting on a brave face, far from the gloomy, ruthless character she would later become. Gently, she sits by his bed without pulling her hand away. She asks why he is so obsessed with being friends, questioning if he just pities her. Our boy slowly shakes his head, because the one wanting to be her friend is not actually him. To be precise, it is not his 18-year-old self, but his 28-year-old self who had lost all hope. Whenever he despaired over his failing health back then, he would read Bai Ningbing's autobiography. The cover of that book didn't even have a title, just messy handwriting. Spelling out her name. It was both the title and her entire legacy. Alright, so basically, the autobiography details everything that happened after his return, including his rooftop jump. Without anyone there to save him, he actually leaped straight off the building. He survived, but lost his legs and was dragged straight into the mud of despair. He had to crawl, but he absolutely refused to break. His autobiography literally says, even though I have lost both of my legs, I will fly much further than healthy people. And he absolutely did, acing his way into a top-tier university, building his own company, and traveling the entire world. We are talking skydiving, bungee jumping, basically fighting the entire world. They never actually met, but Fang Yuan had known him through that book for a long time. He was the only vibrant splash of color in Fang Yuan's dull life, making him wish he could have appeared in his youth to save him. He vowed that he would never let his beautiful rose be broken, even if that tragedy somehow made it look more beautiful. So Fang Yuan literally just places an apple in Bai Ningbing's hand, no explanation given. He explains that he simply wants to be friends, and if he absolutely has to give a reason for doing it, is because you look good a valid one? Hearing this, Bai Ningbing takes a bite of the apple. And he silently complains in his head, wondering what kind of ridiculous reason that is. But then Fang Yuan calls him out, pointing out the apple was meant for peeling. Since he already ate the whole thing, Bai Ningbing instantly blushes bright red and frantically tells him he gets it. It is just a stupid apple anyway. Fine, he will just peel another one for him. Honestly, what a hassle. Talk about a classic tsundere. But honestly, he is pretty cute. Now, ever since Bai Ningbing saved Fang Yuan's parents actually went out of their way to meet him, begging him to take good care of their son. Bai Ningbing sits there all polite with red ears, giving a super serious promise. He solemnly swears that he will protect Fang Yuan, but immediately locks eyes with Fang Yuan's teasing, happy smile. Incredibly embarrassed, he quickly looks away, but a moment later he turns his head back to face Fang Yuan. He quietly says, "Now we are friends," and you probably won't believe this, but the beautiful afternoon sun is literally shining right through the glass window, landing perfectly on his shoulders. Outside, a few chubby birds flutter into the air, playing in the warm breeze. Bai Ningbing turns his head to look at him with absolute sincerity, saying Fang Yuan is officially his first friend. Fang Yuan just smiles, thinking they have been friends since before they even met. Now let's talk about Fang Yuan's health, and trust me, it is bad, like extremely bad. His massive family villa has to be completely disinfected daily, and the medical staff coming in can't even make direct contact with him, even though he's technically at home. The place feels exactly like a cold, empty hospital. There is absolutely zero warmth. Then, on one of his birthdays, his loving mother gifts him a beautiful preserved flower, pulling him onto her lap to gently stroke his hair. With her eyes full of smiles, she gently asks him why he doesn't seem to like the gift. She says it was the prettiest rose in her garden, kept just for her baby. The 5-year-old Fang Yuan just stares at the vibrant red rose inside the glass dome, its thorns completely shaved off, leaving behind nothing but small brown scars, and it suddenly makes him feel incredibly sad. Staring at the rose, he whispers, "Without its thorns, it must have hurt so much."
His mother is completely taken aback, quickly telling him that it is just a simple rose. But he just looks up at her, asking if it will get lonely trapped inside all by itself. Just like him. Hearing this, his mother completely freezes. The very next second, tears instantly flood her eyes, and his beautiful mother bursts into loud crying. A 5-year-old could not understand, but he stayed in that giant villa. He grew up day by day, seemingly having everything, yet nothing at all. Endless money and the kind of power normal people can only dream of. Yet he feels like he has absolutely nothing, completely empty inside. He doesn't even have a healthy body, which honestly might sound a bit dramatic. But he really had zero interest in life, until he saw her autobiography cover. It said, "My life should be a wild, open field." Not a set track, and just like that, he became incredibly curious. He was obsessed with this total stranger and just had to know what kind of life she actually lived. But opening the book, he only saw a shattered, broken rose. A rose with its thorns brutally clipped off at age 18. A rebellious, imperfect rose. Looking at the preserved flower on his desk, he sighs. It felt like his own rose. Now, the Bai family business? To his massive Fang family, they are literally not even worth mentioning. Even those clowns Fang Yuan and Lin Yue, if he hadn't transferred here, neither they nor their fathers would even be worthy to meet him. After resting at home for 2 days, our boy returns to school. Right after class, Bai Lingxi approaches him, batting her big eyes. "Fang Yuan!
Are you feeling better yet? It's been days since I saw you.
I was so worried." Meanwhile, Fang Yuan and Lin Yue follow behind. Glaring at him with pure impatience, Fang Yuan just casually looks up. "Oh, really?" She nods eagerly. "Absolutely. You just transferred and already saved my sister. And you even got sick because of it. I feel so incredibly guilty. So how about I take care of you for a while?" She gives him this massive puppy dog look, but Fang Yuan instantly loses it. He snaps. "Why should you take care of him? He's a grown man. Can he not look after himself just because his health is trash? And why thank him for Bai Ningbing? Who does she even think she is?"
She puts on her best innocent face. How can you say that?
"Ningbing is my sister, and Fang Yuan literally saved her life. I should be thanking him." Lin Yue chimed in next. "Look, Xiaoxi, you are just way too nice." She blushes. "Oh, stop it. It's the least I can do. Feng Yan, please don't mind them." Zhang Yuan just speaks without thinking. He doesn't mean to attack you. Zhang Yuan scowls. Why are you explaining anything to this guy anyway? Our boy just watches these three put on a whole dramatic soap opera. Once they finally shut up, he calmly drops a flat, "No thanks." He doesn't need strangers fussing over him when Bai Ningbing is plenty. He didn't even say anything harsh, but her eyes instantly welled up, sobbing that she was just being self-indulgent, like she's about to cry. She runs off crying, acting like he committed some unforgivable crime. Naturally, Zhang Yuan chases right after her, totally falling for the act. But first, he glares at Fang Yuan. "Don't be so ungrateful." Our boy just laughs it off. He didn't even say anything bad. But even if he did, what are they going to do? Hit him? Lin Yu absolutely loses it and grabs him by the collar. So Lin Yue tries to corner Fang Yuan, but before he can even struggle, Bai Ningbing bursts right through the door. He grabs Lin Yue's wrist in a death grip, basically warning him to try touching Fang Yuan and see what happens. Lin Yue freezes on the spot, while our MC Fang Yuan just casually looks up at him, totally unfazed. He reminds Lin Yue that at 18 he should know better if he touches even a single finger of his today. He will make Lin Yue's dad kneel right in front of him tomorrow, telling him to try if he thinks he's bluffing. This absolutely infuriates Lin Yue. His eyes turn red with rage as his chest heaves. But in the end, Lin Yue doesn't dare to throw a punch. Talk about getting completely folded without a fight. And honestly, our MC is right. People with obvious weaknesses are always the easiest to control. Now, Feng Yuan's grades are actually pretty good, but Bai Ningbing is on another level. Since Fang Yuan's health is delicate, he has to avoid anything too mentally exhausting. It is something he must absolutely avoid. After all, he doesn't need test scores to prove his worth, so their daily routine is just studying and reading together. They would spend hours discussing different ways to solve problems, and Bai Ningbing's brilliant insights always excite Fang Yuan. It's the interplay of power and profit that matters to him. But he is not as sharp or extreme as before. Honestly, he looks completely fine on the surface. But she knows the deep trauma from his family is still very real.
It is still silently eating away at him. How did the 28-year-old Bai Ningbing even survive that level of despair? But she knows one thing for sure.
She is determined to pull this 18-year-old out of the mud. Her health is pretty weak, sometimes catching a cold from a simple breeze. But Bai Ningbing, he is on a completely different level.
The guy is like a wild weed, swaying in the wind but holding on with deep, stubborn roots. His energy is literally endless, and even her mom notices how good he is for her.
She even says Bai Ningbing is a great kid, pointing out how much livelier our girl looks now.
She just smiles and flips a page, softly agreeing that, yeah, he really is a good guy.
Looking out at the beautiful sunny sky today, she realizes Bai Ningbing is actually late for once. Over this past month, it really looks like he is keeping some major secrets from her.
She does not pry, and he does not bring it up either. He always shows up looking completely exhausted, and sometimes she even notices fresh bruises all over him the next day. At first, she does not think much of it, until gym class rolls around.
A classmate named Lin Yu accidentally fires a ball straight at her, while Bai Ningbing is just leaning against a tree nearby. He is literally mid-laugh with her when suddenly, boom, the ball comes zooming straight for her head. Bai Ningbing dodges and immediately lunges to shield her, bringing them incredibly close. She can hear his heart racing, and suddenly her own heavy chest starts hammering too. Talk about a major butterfly in the stomach moment! He lets out a muffled groan. Bai Ningbing!
She frantically asks if he is okay, but he just grits his teeth, insisting he is fine.
He immediately lets go, marches straight up to Lin Yue, and grabs him tightly by the collar. Lin Yue flashes a fake soulless smirk, asking if he did that on purpose. Hands up, he casually claims his hand slipped. Ever since Jiang Yuan threatened Lin Yue last time, Lin Yue and Bai Lingxi drifted apart, while Jiang Yuan got closer to her. So Lin Yue started looking for trouble with Jiang Yuan, though it was just cautious testing at first. With no reaction from Jiang Yuan, he kept pushing boundaries, and honestly, it is super annoying.
Exactly how he used to mistreat Bai Ningbing, though Jiang Yuan completely ignored his childish provocations.
He stays silent, simply looking over at Bai Ningbing. With a sharp exhale, he raises his fist and smashes it right into Lin Yue's face. Lin Yue recoils in absolute pain. That had to hurt. In an instant, Lin Yue gets bruised up. He screams at Bai Ningbing for daring to hit him over Fang Yuan. Bai Ningbing fires back that Lin Yue is exactly who he wanted to hit as he tries to lunge forward.
Classmates hold Lin Yue back while Jiang Yuan and Bai Lingxi watch them from a distance.
Lin Yu scoffs, asking if he forgot who was the first to even speak to him when he returned to the Bai family. Ignoring him, Bai Ningbing turns to Fang Yuan and warns him to stay far away. Fang Yuan stays quiet, so Bai Ningbing helplessly reaches out to pat his head. Telling him to be good, Fang Yuan obediently takes 2 steps back.
Seeing himself get completely ignored, Lin Yue loses his mind and screams Bai Ningbing's name. He snaps, saying he is nothing compared to Xiaoxi and cannot even match a single strand of his hair.
Once Bai Ningbing sees Fang Yuan is safe, he just turns around and flips Lin Yue off. Lin Yue goes absolutely ballistic, violently shaking off his classmates.
He mocks him, asking if he thinks he is hot stuff just because he clung on to the Fang family heir.
He jeers that Fang Yuan is only using him as a free dog who comes running whenever called. Bai Ningbing's eyes turn deadly cold as he dares him to say that again. Lin Yue sneers and repeats the insult, and then, boom. Bai Ningbing's fist obliterates Lin Yue's face, giving him a perfectly matching set of bruises on both cheeks. The two start throwing down right on the court, while other students panic and try to break it up. While everyone scrambles, Fang Yuan just watches them go at it, totally locked in. Even though Bai Ningbing is actually taking some heavy hits, Fang Yuan just quietly smirks. Honestly, I love how our main character refuses to let his partner stay insecure and lifeless. He deserves to walk with his head high, completely full of confidence. But you need a strong foundation for that, and the toxic Bai family would never help him. But Fang Yuan can. He will happily be his sole vulnerability. He will also be his ultimate shield, playing the part of a dedicated gardener, just quietly protecting his precious rose until it fully blooms. But right now, the fight is getting brutal. By the time Fang Yuan's bodyguards arrive, Bai Ningbing is starting to lose the fight. And this is why you do not mess with Fang Yuan. He tells his guards to just break one of Lin Yue's legs. His quiet order is given, and the bodyguards immediately move in to handle business. The result? Bai Ningbing gets a few scratches, while Lin Yue literally gets his legs snapped. Later in the school clinic, Bai Ningbing is sitting on the bed. His skin is covered in fresh bruises, mixed in with some nasty old scars. An endless cycle of getting hurt, healing, and getting hurt all over again. Fang Yuan presses his slender fingers against those fresh, painful marks. Bai Ningbing winces, looking up to gently grab his hand. He tells him to just put some ointment on it because it does not even hurt. Staying completely expressionless, Fang Yuan purposely presses right on the split cut on his lip. He yelps in pain, but even while grimacing, he just looks up and gives him a goofy smile. Fang Yuan ignores his teasing and quietly starts applying the medicine to his back. The clinic is completely silent now, with only the two of them breathing in the quiet air. After a long silence, he softly asks if Fang Yuan is still angry with him. When Fang Yuan stays silent, he cautiously turns around to look at him. He admits that last time Lin Yu grabbed his collar, but he just wasn't strong enough to fight back then. He whispers that he did not get hurt on purpose and he never cares about getting bullied. But he is absolutely terrified of seeing Fang Yuan get hurt, making Fang Yuan stop and look him dead in the eyes. Fang Yuan tells him he is not angry, and a wave of pure relief washes over him.
Our MC gently pats her head, promising never to get angry with her.
Telling her that no matter what, she never has to walk on eggshells. Calling her super cool for protecting them makes her ears turn red as a beet. With those big watery eyes and messy hair, she looks just like a loyal puppy. This puppy rose vibe is actually so cute, but that night she goes home. The next day, our MC hears she got beaten and dragged to apologize to the Lins. Hearing this on day 2, our MC's eyes instantly turn ice cold. Pure, overwhelming rage washes over their fragile, weak body. After coughing twice, our MC stands up, leaving the parents totally shocked. Asking what's wrong with the girl, our MC puts on a coat to stay calm. Giving a blunt, chilling explanation, our MC just had the bodyguards break Lin Yue's legs. Now, the mom is usually the most gentle, soft-spoken person ever. But hearing this, she slams her chopsticks down, asking who this Lin Yue is. She glares at the dad, Old Fang, telling him to deal with it. Old Fang doesn't say a word, just nods with a dark expression.
As our MC walks out, the dad finally speaks up, warning about their weak health.
Don't get too worked up, just bring her back home safely.
Our MC stays silent, unsure if they can even control their rage upon seeing her. Can we talk about this hype? Let's rewind to 8 p.m. the night before.
Bai Ningbing walks back home, completely unaware of the trap waiting for her. Her green tea sister, Bai Lingxi, is crying on the couch while Jiang Yuan comforts her. The parents hover as the sister whimpers that Bai Ningbing beat up Lin Yue at school.
She complains that Lin Yu was her friend and that their dads had a major deal.
Sobbing about how brutal the beating was, she starts apologizing to her parents. Saying she should have watched her sister closer? Talk about a classic snake. Hearing this, the trash dad, Bai Fu, immediately yells out in pure shock. He can't believe she beat up Lin Yue, especially since their family business is failing. The only thing keeping them afloat was a deal made solely because of the sister. Terrified the deal is ruined, Bai Fu grinds his teeth, calling her an ungrateful brat. He rants about how she's nothing but trouble, swearing to beat her to death. Right on cue, Bai Ningbing walks in and this man literally grabs a glass cup. He throws it straight at her face the second she steps through the door, calling her a family-ruining piece of trash, while Bai Ningbing just frowns in disgust. Looking at her crying sister, she feels absolutely nothing but pure irritation. She turns to walk right back out, but her toxic dad grabs her tightly, screaming at her about where she thinks she is going and how she only ruins things, saying he should have never brought her back, and that's when her long-repressed anger explodes.
It literally snaps in her mind, and she is not holding back anymore. She slaps his hand away, staring him down, telling him that's not what he should regret. Saying he shouldn't have ever had her, which makes the dad completely lose his mind. Heartbroken to the bone, her cold glare cuts through the room like a knife. Slowly looking at every single corner of this house and the disgusting faces of everyone inside. It feels like a blade is carving up her heart, piece by piece. But all that pain quickly hardens into pure hatred, asking if he thinks she even wanted to return. Saying that if she hadn't come back, she could have at least kept the illusion of a family. He once hoped for a place where someone would love him, but now the curtain is pulled back and his parents have basically become someone else's. They do not love him at all. In fact, they treat him like a straight-up enemy. His parents constantly look down on him for being slow, comparing him to the golden child Bai Lingxi. He admits his flaws, but why does nobody care that this life was supposed to be his? Never complaining about the unfairness, he did not even let himself feel jealous. Even when a complete stranger stepped in to become his brother, he did not mind. But he absolutely hates his parents. Why bring him into this world just to neglect him? Just because Bai Lingxi claimed Bai Ningbing disliked him, the golden child's pursuers beat him half to death. He survived all the insults, looking up to memorize the face of every single abuser in that room. But when guests came over, his parents literally introduced him as just a friend's kid. How absolutely tragic. Imagine your own parents calling you a friend's kid.
At that moment, his smile looked more like crying, but absolutely nobody cared.
He bared his entire soul to them, only for them to look right through him. They just called him dramatic and walked away. Honestly, these villains are pure trash. But then, Fang Yuan finally rushes in. Bai Ningbing is lying unconscious on the floor, with blood pooling heavily around his leg. Fang Yuan's mind instantly goes blank, his lips trembling as he tries to speak.
He desperately whispers Bai Ningbing's name, just as Father Ling eagerly steps forward to greet him.
The old man tries to kiss up to Fang Yuan, but the bodyguards immediately shove him aside. At this point, all Fang Yuan can hear is his own heavy, panicked breathing. His eyes are completely locked onto Bai Ningbing and that severely bleeding leg. He tries to scream to get to the hospital, but his body is shaking too hard to speak. The bodyguard cannot quite hear him and asks the young master to repeat himself. "Get to the hospital!" Fang Yuan literally screams the command at the top of his lungs. But as those words leave his mouth, Fang Yuan suddenly coughs up a huge spray of blood. The bodyguards panic, immediately rushing both him and the unconscious Bai Ningbing out of there. They race to the hospital, and soon they are waiting right outside the operating room. Fang Yuan begs the director, who is his dad's close friend, to save Bai Ningbing's leg. The doctor sighs, promising to do his best, but warns Fang Yuan to look after himself. He tells him to rest, and then the red light of the operating room turns on. With the tension finally snapping, Fang Yuan collapses and passes out cold right there. Trapped in a fever dream, he sees the 28-year-old version of Bai Ningbing crawling on his knees. Next, the 18-year-old version of Bai Ningbing appears, looking at him with red, teary eyes. The boy cries out that it hurts so much, standing on his left and right. The two versions keep drifting further apart, and Fang Yuan desperately wants to save both. But his hands grasp nothing but empty air in the end. Gritting his teeth, he runs toward the 28-year-old Bai Ningbing, breaking back into the light. He grabs his hand with everything he has, begging him not to leave. But the older Bai Ningbing just pushes him away, saying he doesn't need Fang Yuan anymore. Fang Yuan jolts and his hand slips. But then a gentle hand presses against his chest, eyes full of warmth. He softly whispers, "Thank you, Fang Yuan, for saving his 18-year-old self." With a slight push on his chest, his entire body suddenly plummets. Falling into a pure white void, he looks up to see Bai Ningbing laughing freely. He waves one last time, as if saying a final goodbye to Fang Yuan. At this point, she wakes up and stares at the opposite bed, feeling completely dazed. His face is absolutely wrecked. Bandages are everywhere. With both of his legs in heavy casts, he looks like a broken doll. He slowly raises his only good hand just to wave hello. Her eyes well up. She instantly tries to sit up. But he quickly stops her. The IV is still in.
And just like that, they are both trapped on opposite sides of the room, pinned down by their IV drips.
Through a bruised face, he whispers that she saved him twice. Yet he still smiles, wishing he could peel her a fresh apple to thank her. But with only one working hand left, her eyes can only drift down to his 2 shattered legs. Her lips tremble. Does it hurt? He nods. It hurts like absolute hell, he admits, staring straight up at the ceiling. His voice is a quiet murmur, as if he is describing someone else. Bai Lingxi exposed him for hitting Ling Yue, and their family feared losing the business deal. So they dragged him straight to the Lin family to be punished. Ling Yue even stepped out, promising to let him go if he begged. But as if he would ever beg, what are broken legs to him? He is not even afraid of death. His tone is casual, yet a tear slips down his temple. It sinks into his pillow as he asks her a heavy question. Does completely selfless, unconditional love actually exist in this world? Because if it does, why have I never seen it, and why has no one loved me? He turns his head, staring at her calmly. Are you also just looking at someone else when you look at me? Underneath that calm facade, a dangerous beast feels ready to break out and swallow her. Tears sting her eyes, but she forces a painful smile that looks far worse than crying. How unlucky, she tells him, because that person just decided to throw me away. Bai Ningbing bites his lip, his voice cracking as she rips out her IV needle. Walking barefoot over to his bed, she leans down to press her forehead against his. Their eyes lock completely, letting him look straight into her soul. A single hot tear slips down, landing right on his dry lips. Because he realized there is now someone far more important to her than he ever was. Her warmth radiates straight into him, making his long eyelashes flutter in absolute shock. With a trembling, fragile voice, he asks if that special person is him. Sniffling quietly, she leans down even further to gently touch him. Their warm breaths mingle. Sharing their beautiful secret, she whispers that yes, it is him. In an instant, his once dull eyes light up like brilliant stars. Honestly, this emotional payoff is so good. Something between them silently, completely shifts. Yet on the surface, nothing seems different, though he does become much brighter. Only now, he's incredibly clingy, constantly begging her for fresh apples. He whines that he is thirsty, and when she does not budge at all, he pitifully rolls his wheelchair over, pointing down at his massive plaster casts. She just rolls her eyes and playfully taps his perfectly fine, uninjured head, ordering him to get back to studying while he blinks innocently. He hooks his fingers onto the MC's sleeve, whispering that he's learned his lesson. The MC tells him to stop, seeing how pitiful he looks. Honestly, looking at his near-perfect test scores, the MC just sighs and goes to get it. With the puppy in the living room, our MC heads to the kitchen. But the way the guy's eyes constantly track him makes the MC feel like a trapped butterfly. First lured in by a beautiful rose and now completely surrounded by its thorns? The MC chuckles, turning back to his frozen, adorable puppy. He brings a glass of water to his lips, asking if he's not curious about his family. Freezing in place, he slowly raises those wet, round eyes. He softly asks what he'll do now that he's homeless, begging the MC to never leave. Talk about low-key heartbreaking. This insecure guy literally looks like an abandoned stray. He is timidly testing the MC's love. Our MC just smiles and ruffles his soft hair. An absolute idiot's grin spreads as the MC promises to cherish him. From that moment on, he never asks about his family again because he genuinely doesn't care. But just because he wants to forget doesn't mean those abusers get a free pass. While the puppy is busy reading, the MC steps outside and asks if Lin Yue was hospitalized. His bodyguard nods, but instantly gets this super hesitant, awkward look on his face. He asks if they really have to wait for Lin Yue's legs to heal before beating him again. His arms too, the MC replies. Luckily, Ningbing's legs are mostly fine. He just needs some good rest, but the MC still can't shake that horrific memory. He remembers the pool of blood beneath him and coughs softly. His eyes turned completely icy. The exact day Ningbing got hurt, things took a dark turn. The MC literally coughed up blood, sending his parents into an absolute rage.
Even his grandpa vacationing in Europe was alarmed, and once the two are finally discharged from hospital, before they even ask, the report of their ruin is handed over. Turns out the Bai, Lin, and Jiang families are totally ruined. Lin Yu's limbs are completely broken. He is totally paralyzed in his hospital bed. Meanwhile, the Zhangs go bankrupt.
Fang Yuan and Bai Lingxi get into a massive fight, with him blaming her for everything.
They end up parting on terrible terms, and the MC just sneers.
Seriously, these toxic couples always fold at the first sign of trouble.
The Bai family is done. Father Bai forces Bai Lingxi to use her body to secure a tycoon. But the moment the deal goes through, she ruthlessly turns on her family with a final message. She asks how they expected loyalty after treating their biological child so terribly. They just used her. Father Bai literally passes out from pure rage, while Mother Bai breaks down in useless tears. Now homeless, the greedy couple has to move into a suburban shelter. And here is the ultimate plot twist. That exact shelter is the old orphanage where Ningbing grew up. After their first meeting, the Fang family funded a brand new building. They moved the kids to a much better location, leaving the original rundown facility completely empty.
Now it's a homeless shelter. The MC once visited Ningbing's old room.
It was unbelievably tiny, featuring nothing but a single window barely the size of a hand. Underneath lay a rotting, broken desk. It's so easy to picture the heartbreaking scene. Picture a tiny, fragile Ningbing, desperately wishing his parents would come save him. Until that dream was utterly crushed. This kind of deep trauma, wrapped in fake pride, is honestly like a sugar-coated poison. Letting her plunge into the dark abyss, imagining her suffering without any escape, is truly heartbreaking. How much pain must she survive to rebuild herself from the ashes? It hurts to watch. Now, exam day is coming.
Fang Yuan's house is on complete alert, while Bai Ningbing sits back, watching his parents smother him.
His mom says he literally just recovered, so maybe they should wait another year. Just go next year, Fang Yuan. Your dad is totally right. Besides, they do not need a degree since his dad is literally an Oxford grad. The dad nods in agreement. Total headache. He explains that his health might be poor, but he is not made of glass. They go silent, but their intensely worried stares are way too much for him. That previous blood coughing incident absolutely terrified them. Sighing, he looks over at Bai Ningbing, who is sitting silently in her wheelchair. Sunlight streams through the window, but even bathed in warmth, she looks completely isolated. Wrapped in deep loneliness, Fang Yuan steps up. Her cold fingers meet his warm grasp as he takes a deep breath. He turns to his parents and says he knows they are just deeply worried. But life is short. Tomorrow is never promised. He wants to live doing what he loves and protecting the one he cares about. Live life to the fullest, his mom tears up. His dad glances at Bai Ningbing, sighs, and admits his son has finally grown up. He tells him to go, but exam day is a total disaster. Right outside the gates, two sketchy, homeless-looking parents appear. They charge forward and grab her wheelchair. They scream at the top of their lungs that she is their ungrateful daughter.
She sells herself to men and abandons her family, so she does not deserve to test.
Seriously, these toxic parents are like cornered mad dogs who cannot handle their own failures. They strike at anyone weaker than them. They yank her so violently her clothes rip, forcing her to desperately grip her armrests. Security tries to pull them off, but they refuse to let go. Even under the judgmental gaze of the crowd, Bai Ningbing just stares back at them, completely numb. After a long silence, she reminds them that they literally watched someone break her legs. She admits she is broke and relies entirely on her boyfriend. What do they even gain? The crowd whispers. Security's already calling the cops, but the biological father's eyes are bloodshot with rage. He squeezes her legs so hard his knuckles turn white with pure psychotic desperation. He demands that since she is in with a rich guy, she should go beg him for help. He asks for just a little handout. Just a tiny handout from his massive wealth because they cannot survive on their own. Fang Yuan finishes his call and looks over absolutely furious. He runs over to kick the scum, but Bai Ningbing quickly grabs his wrist. She holds on tight. He is her absolute lifeline. She asks if this is only about money, which triggers the mother instantly.
The woman drops down, crying fake tears. She wails that they are so sorry and searched for her for years.
But that evil and toxic Lin Sheena completely brainwashed them into treating her like trash. They beg him to believe them, crying about how they actually do love him. The dad is sobbing his eyes out, but Bai Ningbing just stares at him, completely cold. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan is checking the clock and getting pretty anxious since exam time is ticking down. Bai Ningbing gives them a cold, sharp glare. But then, he suddenly starts to laugh. He looks at his utterly confused mother and gives a slight, slow nod.
Fang Yuan frowns at this nonsense and tugs on his hand, asking what he wants to do.
When Bai Ningbing asks what they expect him to do, the mother is completely speechless. But the greedy father immediately demands cash, tons of it, and Bai Ningbing actually agrees. He agrees so easily, then forcefully rips his father's hands off him. He promises to give them their money right after his exam is over. Then he grabs Fang Yuan and heads inside, leaving those two greedy parents celebrating like fools. Fang Yuan calls his name, and Bai Ningbing looks up with an incredibly calm expression. His eyes are as quiet as still water, making Fang Yuan really want to comfort him. But before Fang Yuan can find the right words, Bai Ningbing sees right through him. He points back at his parents, who are literally dancing and screaming for him to come out. Bai Ningbing lets out a mocking laugh, saying, "Look, I have parents waiting for me too." Honestly, that line is a total gut punch, and it makes Fang Yuan's heart completely ache. He grabs Bai Ningbing by the shoulders, looks him dead in the eye, and says, "Your family is me." Fang Yuan warns him not to look at those strangers, marking his first time being so firm. But Bai Ningbing absolutely loves it, smiling and teasing Fang Yuan for being so domineering. Even as they head to separate testing rooms, the tension between them is so real. Both of them are blushing like crazy, but guys, get ready for some major payback. Bai Ningbing drags Fang Yuan to a funeral shop, spending 1,000 yuan on billions of ghost cash. Then, right in front of his toxic parents, he starts burning every single bill in a basin. The parents are absolutely fuming, but the bodyguards keep them pinned to the ground, forced to watch. He tells them this money is for their future in the afterlife, little early savings plan. He even warns them to go down and claim it early before the offer expires. With nobody else ever burning anything for them, they are kept kneeling there for 3 hours. Eventually, they stop struggling entirely and just stare blankly at the ashes, completely defeated. You made your choice, so do not even think about regretting it now. Honestly, it is sad that some people will just never understand that actions have consequences. As for their sister, Bai Lingxi, her downfall is even worse. In just 2 months, she goes from a spoiled princess to a completely desperate nobody. She basically becomes a tragic, self-destructive mess, while Fang Yuan watches the satisfying drama unfold. Since his health is not great, he just relaxes in the car, enjoying the glorious show. Before getting in, Bai Ningbing opens the door and suddenly asks for a hug with sparkling eyes. Fang Yuan instantly blushes, feeling way too old to be treated with this much affection. It is low-key embarrassing, but he still wraps his arms around Bai Ningbing's waist anyway. But Bai Ningbing immediately hooks his arms around his neck, asking why he cannot do that. He whispers that he thought getting close hugs like this was a special privilege for family. His warm breath brushes against Fang Yan's ear, sending a sudden flutter straight to his heart. Fang Yuan teases him back, asking if he wants to be the older or younger sibling. Bai Ningbing smirks and says he can be the younger one by day and older by night. Fang Yuan completely freezes in shock. Bai Ningbing just looks at him sideways, teasing that a younger sibling would be way too passionate. Her face instantly burns up, leaving her wondering if she can handle his teasing. That deep blush does not fade the entire ride home. Then comes exam results day. She is actually at the hospital helping Bai Ningbing get his cast off when the call comes. Bai Ningbing actually gets super nervous. She cannot resist teasing him. Hearing this, his eyes light up, but he strategically decides to play it cool. Instead, he wraps his arms around her waist, pulling her onto his lap. She gasps, instinctively bracing against his chest. He looks up at her with these big, trembling puppy dog eyes.
He softly whispers that he's basically useless. He asks if she will start hating him, which is just too adorable. She gently pinches his cheeks. There is no way she could ever get sick of him. But right before dinner can start, her dad specifically calls Bai Ningbing into his private study. She already knows exactly what this talk is about. Sure enough, soon after, Bai Ningbing comes wheeling out. He whispers that her dad agreed to let them attend the same college. Her grades would never cut it, but her family has serious cash. She can basically go wherever she wants. Her dad simply signs the papers, while Bai Ningbing gently touches her hand. His deep voice murmurs how happy he is to finally have her to himself. Her ears turn red instantly. Honestly, this level of intense affection is still pretty hard for her. He completely flipped a switch, turning from a dense block of wood into a spoiled prince. Sometimes just his gaze is enough. It makes her wonder if her clothes are even on right. The more she tries to dodge him, the closer he aggressively pushes. Just as he is about to pin her onto the sofa, her dad lets out a massive cough. Bai Ningbing instantly sits up straight, acting totally innocent as she bursts out laughing. Later that night, they stroll through the garden together. Suddenly, he turns to her and asks if she actually knows what love is. When she asks what he means, he just gazes up at the sky. The stars are twinkling brilliantly. He softly says the true essence of love is simply being seen. His eyes reflect the starlight, whispering that he used to wander alone. Only her moonlight ever reached him. He only wants her looking at him and him alone. Standing up from his wheelchair, he grabs her hands. He tells her he loves her, asking if they can finally date. His weak legs are shaking, but his eyes are completely locked on her. She just wraps her arms around his waist. She holds up her beautiful, fragile rose, whispering that she loves him too. That damaged rose is finally safe in her hands, ready to run beside her forever, never to be separated again.